Ta-da! Welcome, 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 welcome. So I hope you're doing well, doing fine, and that you're enjoying your beautiful, beautiful summer. Of course, here in Montreal, we're going to be enjoying the summer because we had close to 7 months of snow and cold. So having this beautiful weather is fantastic. It's currently a long weekend in Quebec. And next week it's going to be another long weekend, so we have 2 nice weeks to just enjoy the weather and have fun. So I hope you are enjoying your own weekend and your own week, and that everything is going well. Today I wanted to talk to you about marriage and weddings, and you know, the music, the title of the video. If you've never been to an African wedding, if you've never been to a Nigerian wedding in particular, or a Korean wedding for that matter, I suggest you just broaden your the range of friends that you do have, because it's truly a wonderful experience. I think there was a time in my life where every summer I was just attending weddings, like Nigerian weddings when I was in the United States, and believe me, those parties were some of the most amazing time you can have, just having fun, showing love, so much love and bliss and tradition mixed into it that it's just grateful and wonderful. So today, yes, we're going to be talking about weddings, and this is basically a follow-up to my French video, because I did a French video a while ago on the MlleCammy weddings, traditional weddings, and more recently on the diary, on portion of the diary, to clarify some questions that I've received. And I thought I will do an English version, because I haven't spoken on this subject in English yet. So first I'm gonna try to talk about it from a modern perspective, because before in traditionally, nobody was going out having to go and date. You didn't have to get out there and and go to dinner and do all those different things. No, you didn't have to do all of that. Your parents will go out. They will be the one that will be looking for the ideal partner. Okay, so your parents will be the one going out, seeking a mate, a appropriate mate for you, and all what you had to do as a young woman was to sit at home and wait for your parents to tell you, you know, here we have some pretenders and, you know, and potential husbands for you to choose from. Or for the man, it was like he will be, you know, taking care of his business, going to work, and his parents will say, okay, now that you settled, you're financially stable, you need to get married, you need to settle down, and they will go out and look for a bride for him. And the advantages, of course, of that process is that you didn't have to deal with somebody you didn't know. Your parents will have, you could usually look into their look first into their circles of friends, the family they know and trust, families that they do have already a long-standing relationship of trust. If they do have a mate of your age, around your age, because those kind of weddings were not made for you to marry somebody who's just like 10, 20, 15 years older than you. It most often presents itself is best if, let's say, you know, 2 families have children that are the exact same age, but sometimes there is a fluctuation in differences between the ages, and that's okay. But usually you wouldn't go to 15 or 20 years difference. It's usually a maximum, I think, around 10. If it's going to get up there, it's going to be around 10. And the advantage is that is that the parents, the families know each other. So you will have less to worry about, that, you know, in terms of the reputation of the person, in terms of finding out things that are maybe not be appropriate. Sometimes sometimes it's the case that the family know each other from generations, so which made it even better or even easier in the process of marriage. And what is looked at is not just the potential feeling that you may have, because as I've mentioned in some other videos, love is a choice. You choose who you want to be exposed to by, you know, going to certain places, not going to other places. You choose who you want to spend your time with, and all of that is part of the process of you developing feelings for somebody, or making yourself available to develop feelings for somebody. And of course, the interaction that you will have with that person and the chemistry that you may feel, blah 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 blah. So anyways, So back in the days, you didn't have to do all of that. Like the children, the youth will just sit at home and wait for your parents to propose to you this person, that person, talk to you about who's that person, what's the family is doing, why this is such a great match, what you can expect from that, and you had a choice. You know, sometimes you had more choices than other people. Sometimes some people may have less choices, but ultimately they offer you the possibility, the opportunity. And of course, sometimes if you're too picky, then it may take a lot longer for you to get settled down. But if you find the right match right away, then it's gonna be starting the process of marriage. For us, the MlleCammy, there is before the marriage, the engagement is also very important. So let's say we have a guy X, his parents go out, find out some of their friends have a daughter that they find suitable, and they will then advise him that, you know, they have found the mate, and then they will probably invite that family over to their house, and or have the father go over there and talk to the parents of the bride. If they do agree, then they will share cola. Cola is it's not a grain, it's like a fruit, an African fruit that you usually, it's not really dried, but it's like, I will try to insert a picture so you can have an idea of what it is. Usually you break it into pieces or more, and then you both eat a small piece and share. It's kind of like a symbolism in terms of selling agreements, in terms of sharing something that is sacred, because cola is involved in a lot of spiritual ritual as well. So they will go and, you know, share the cola if the agreement is on, and have a drink. Basically, usually the drink is can be what you call it, palm wine. I don't know if you say that like that in English, but palm wine, and or nowadays it's more and more harder alcohol like whiskey and stuff like that. But basically they will just have a drink, share the cola, and kick off the process of the wedding, because the wedding for us is not an event, it's not just one little thing, it's not just signing of a contract, it's not the buying of somebody else, it's just a process of the two families coming together for the purpose of the couple being creating their own extension of that family. So it's involving a lot of people besides just the groom and the bride. And so once the cola has been shared and the drink has been taken, now starts the process of dowry. So they are currently considered engaged, and the engagement is sealed once the dowry is paid, once the process of dowry is completed. For us, for the dowry, you have to bring a suitcase. This is traditional stuff. So in the suitcase, there should be clothes that the bride is going to wear. It's a way for the groom to show that he's going to be taking care of his future bride, and that he is already planned to have her clothed a different way, in some type of way, or taking care of what she needs in terms of her clothing, in terms of her basic needs. Basically, he's showing off that he's taking care of her. He's going to be her purveyor and her provider and her protector from now on. So in the suitcase, that's what he's going to be in there. Sometimes they also add a blanket, and this is just symbolism to say that now she's going to be sleeping with the blanket that he bought. The blanket can also be put in the suitcase for the bride's mother or grandmother if she's still alive, and there should also be a lot of different fabrics for the extended family. Sometimes that fabric can be used for the wedding, so that means that will be the colors that the extended family will use to create their clothes for the wedding. So sometimes those fabrics will be used to create the clothes that will be worn for the wedding. So that's why sometimes you see at weddings, one side of the family is all dressed with the same fabric, different, you know, dresses and stuff like that, but in the same fabric, and you can recognize the bride's family members. That's one way to use it. Sometimes it's just family members who will just use that and use it to make clothes, but not necessarily for the wedding. But that's something that can be used for the wedding, because it's also recognition to say, you know, when those people, you have to have enough fabric for uncles, aunts, cousins, nephews, all of these people, nieces and nephews, and so that when they show up at the wedding, they're going to be even more recognition, because they will show that they actually came wearing the clothes with the fabric offered by the groom and the groom's family. Besides, of course, clothing, shoes, and all that stuff in the suitcase, and besides the fabrics that were going to the extended family, there are also sometimes envelopes of money for extended family members. Besides the groom's parents, so it's the uncles and all of that, and that's just a demonstration of the groom that he's ready. And oftentimes he doesn't have to get all of the stuff by himself. Sometimes his family will come and help him gather all the things. And he also is supposed to gather more symbolic traditional things, such as certain type of foods. That could be yams, that could be plantains, a regimen of plantains, oil, for us specifically palm oil that has to be provided. Sometimes there could be also some type of animal, some goats, some different animals that were brought in, a number of animals also. All of that will basically depend on the demand from the bride's family, and those demands come as a traditional demand, because the father of the bride will must have himself paid dowry to when he was marrying the bride's mother. So it's kind of a rule that, you know, if your father didn't pay a dowry for your mother, he's not entitled to ask your fiance to give one. So that's why it's important. And it doesn't mean that if somebody asks of you something that you find to be too expensive, that it's going to be too much, well, you don't have to pay it all at once. Many people have paid the dowry over time, meaning that they pay as you go. You bring the stuff as you get it, and in the meantime you can go and live with your wife in the meantime. So for all of those different reasons, you see that the wedding and the coming together of the groom and the bride is more of an agreement and understanding and coming together of the two families. And even though nowadays there is this kind of obsession sometimes that people have with sexuality and sex and virginity and all of that, in a lot of those processes that wasn't really the focus. People were not worrying about, were not we're not so as obsessed as they can be now, meaning that it was understood that from the moment that the cola was broken and the drink was drank, that the marriage will take place. So anything in between that, between the time during the dowry process, was for the young couple to know each other, to get along with each other, and to be able to mess with the rest of the families. So nobody was really behind them, checking what they were doing and stuff like that. Yes, of course, they were not left alone so much, because it was the whole process of family. So you may have time when there was always a family member present while they were together. But at the same time, there wasn't this obsession to make sure that they didn't have any sexual activities before the wedding or anything like that. Matter of fact, when you look at many couples, you find out that the firstborn is oftentimes conceived during the dowry process, or even earlier than that. When you calculate the age and the moment the wedding actually took place, you realize that they had intimate moments before. So and sometimes it's not to say this was not seen as something that was bad. On the contrary, because sometimes when people were in the process of getting married, you had other people who may be jealous, other people who may not want this marriage for whatever reason, and so all kind of rumors sometimes can be started of people saying that don't marry her, she's sterile, or he's sterile, or any kind of stuff away. So it was a way also for the couple and the two families to be aware aware, especially when they knew the bride was already pregnant before the wedding, that all of those rumors needed to be squashed, would need not to be paid attention to. And so it wasn't something that was frowned upon. It wasn't something that people were looking after, and it wasn't something that people actually really cared about that much. It wasn't anything that was dishonoring. What will be dishonoring will be not going through with the diary after the agreement has been made. That will be a call where you could feel ashamed, or you could be pointed out and all that kind of stuff. But so long as you were going to get married, there's no issues with you enjoying your wife, and the wife enjoying the husband for that. And of course, then you have the process of the wedding. And the wedding, like I mentioned, is not in the Western sense where it's just a party. The wedding in the Bamileke tradition is actually that process, because you have the dowry. Once the dowry is completed, sometimes it can be completed after the wedding has taken place, but it certainly starts before. And the day of the wedding, this is when not just the two families, but the entire community is invited to celebrate that event, and just share into the love, share into the community and the vibe that's around it. I think that's why I say, like, going to weddings is something that anyone should do at least 2 or 3 times a year. It's one of those events where you're already gonna be surrounded with so much love. You're gonna be smiling all the time. You're gonna listen to your best favorite songs. You're gonna be surrounded by men who will be thinking about marriage, and women who are gonna be thinking about marriage, and that's gonna be the topic of the day. And of course, you're gonna be celebrating it with the couple that's getting married. You're gonna be sharing in the love. I will try to put some videos of traditional weddings, Nigerian particularly, in the description box, so that you can just see more and feel more what I'm talking about, for those of you who've never seen it or who've never witnessed it. I think some of those videos where people share their wedding, you can feel the love just by looking at it, even though it's like 3 or 4 minutes. You can really feel the passion that they do have also, and in some of them you can see how the man is delighted to get married. He's delighted he wants to be married, and he's tearing up, and there's so much emotion and so much love in these videos, and at those events, at those ceremonies, that you understand that marriage goes beyond a contractual agreement. Marriage goes beyond a party. It's really that coming together of families. This is why even sometimes when the actual marriage doesn't work out, the members of the community continue to want to be with each other, and sometimes have a hard time when the actual couple wants to part, because sometimes it is a matter of honor as well, to honor the agreement and the engagement that you're taking, and you're taking it for a lifetime, because traditionally you're married for the best and for the worst. So it was anticipated that it was a once in a lifetime thing that someone will go through and do. And this is also why, if you ever get divorced, the process of the diary has to be undone. But I'm not going to get into that in this video, which is supposed to be a good video, a happy video. The second point that I wanted to make in terms of marriage and all of that is with respect to some of the questions that I've received. And I think that I do need to clarify, because sometimes it seems that with the modern trend of people wanting to be kid-free, wanting to be relationship-free, and just aiming to live in the moment, think of the moment, marriage sometimes seems to be reduced to a contractual agreement. Oh, I'm getting married just because the government is telling me that I need to get the tax benefits and stuff like that, which is really not what it is about. And so in some of the questions, some of the reflections, some of the comments that I've gotten were about what were the incentives for men to get married, and those are ongoing discussions. If you look everywhere, discussion about marriage and about what men want, what women want, and all of that has been ongoing for quite some time. And this is why I will recommend that you watch some of those videos, and it's because you can see how the groom is happy to get married, how he's delighted to have found the woman of his dream, the woman that he wants to spend his entire life with. That is nobody pushing him, there's no gun behind his head and anything like that. And when you see them tearing up as they see her or as they speak about her, you can really understand that men get married, they want to get married. Okay. Getting married has so many benefits to it. Okay, so even traditionally, it's not something that was created to oppress anyone. I think if you have that in mind, please, you can have your preferences in terms of not wanting to get married for whatever reason you do have, but do not think that marriage was made or created to oppress anyone. It is a form of communion that is created so that you have a safe harbor with a person that you can understand, that somebody who's going to understand you, somebody you can grow with, somebody you can share with. And especially for men, the woman that he chooses to spend the rest of his life with is going to be the woman he's gonna be able to share the things that he wouldn't even share with his friends, the things that may be too stupid for him to share with his friend, or he may be ashamed of sharing with his friends, the things that he may be dreaming of, his aspiration, his goal, his dreams, his glory, his achievement, his deception, his sadness, his project, his vision of life, his vision of family, what he's anticipating to create, to produce, and how they can do that together. I think it's beautiful when you see two people who found in each other what they've been looking for all over. And just to have and to be there and to share those moments with them and to feel their love and to share into the grace and the willingness that they do have, especially during the wedding process. There's so much willingness to be able to support one another, be able to be flexible enough to always try to understand, and I think above all choosing being happy over being right. And that's the theme of another video. So yes, so I encourage you, if you don't know any Nigerians, especially if you live in the US, there's a big community of Nigerians all over, and I encourage you to go and to mingle and to learn and to make new friends so that you can get invited to those weddings and that you can actually live one of those weddings live and really see what it feels like to be in a place where you can share in the love and the tradition that is part of what is going to be shown between the groom and the bride on the day of the wedding. I mean, when you're going to see some of the videos, there are so many different elements that make that day memorable besides just marrying her. In some of the traditional ways in some of the Nigerians, Igbo or Yoruba tradition, depending on which one it is, you can see the process where the man is actually kneeling in front of the bride's parents. So he's taking an engagement and he's physically kneeling down on the soil before them to tell them that he's going to be taking care of their daughter. So I think this is going to imprint a different kind of thought, a different kind of memory, because every time he's going to think about the wedding, he's going to remember the day he kneeled and asked them to give him that bride, and asked them and not asked them but told them that he was going to take care of her. And I think that's just a beautiful, in terms of the spiritual, in terms of the energical, but also in terms of the physical. Him physically kneeling down before them, honoring the fact that they were able to, to be the pathways for their daughter to come in and to raise that daughter so that she could be his wife. Similarly, the bride will go over to the groom's family, and she will kneel as well. She wouldn't kneel the same way as the man, because the man is completely touching the ground. He's like he's not even kneeling. He's basically laying on the floor at their feet. And then the bride, she's more kneeling on her knees, and the same way honoring the parents of the groom, and you know, vowing to them that she is going to be doing her best to understand him, to support him, and to elevate him, and honoring them for bringing him to this earth, and for raising him to be her husband. So those are just the symbolism in the ceremony itself, in how the different things takes place is important, because it is going to be not only creating memories, but it's also going to have an impact on the subconscious in terms of the type of engagement that we're taking, type of agreement that we are willing to make on that special day with that special person. So for all of you, you see I'm a hopeless romantic, and I just love watching wedding videos and all of that. And you know, if you have, I'm gonna put a couple of them, as I mentioned, in the description box. If you have some of your own, just please list them below. If you've been to Nigerian wedding, no matter where you are, then just go and leave a comment about it. Tell us what you liked about it, what you like best, what you like most, but was it the music or anything like that, so that we can share. And of course, if you've never been to one, let us know where you are, so we can invite you. For some of those who are there, can invite you to one, because it's certainly one of those experiences that one must have before departing. So I hope this was useful, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.